So here we go with the official final exam review. So you have perfect timing. I have the exam with me right now. This is more of an audio recording, but I'm going to make some notes and I'll post the notes along with the video recording. For those people who, after 8 hours today, not going back to my previous discussion, and 4 hours tomorrow, you have forgotten your name. So you're going to probably want to look at this stuff again and go, what in the world is on that exam? What do I have to do? So anyway, let's document it. You can go back and read it later and look at it later over and over again, especially if I go too fast in the review. So the exam is worth 35 points. So it's 35 points total. It's broken out into 3 sections. And the 3 sections that we have are multiple choice. So we got multiple choice. What's that? MPC? MC, multiple choice. There we go. You guys have a bunch of abbreviations. Fill in the blank. What's that? Fill in, F-I-N? No, fill in blank. And then we have 3 short answer questions. 3 short answer. What do I mean by short answer? You actually have to write like a couple paragraphs of information. So let me just make sure that we have 10 multiple choice questions. So multiple choice, we have 10 questions there. We have 10 fill in the blank. So fill in the blank are 10. And then 3 short answer. Let me just make sure. 1, 2, 3. And rather than giving you paper like I did in the last term, I'll just show you visually. I put the question at the top and then I give you the whole page to write on. You don't need the whole page. The short answer, you can probably answer a couple paragraphs or so. Some people like to write a lot, and that's the case. I have left the backs. I purposely had them make the exam so that the back of the pages are empty. So you can write as much as you'd like on these answers. So what are you going to write about? Let's talk about this for a second. Multiple choice. The multiple choice questions are based on the assignments. So MCs are based on assignments. And what did we have in those assignments? Commands. Unix commands. So what kind of Unix commands do you need to know? The ones that we did in the assignment. If you didn't do the assignments, take a look at the assignments. We'll take a look. I'm pretty sure most of you have done the assignments. I believe they're due actually this weekend. So, yes? They're due on Tuesday. Yeah, what I did is I made it so that theoretically you could turn them all in this weekend, but you have a couple of extra days just in case you need some time to fill out. But the class is essentially over with this weekend. So, however, you have till Tuesday at midnight, I believe, to turn it in. The system, I believe, will also allow you to turn it in late, but you don't want to turn it in late. If you turn it in late, you're going to lose points on it. But there's a new feature in there. Actually, we're getting a new EMS, by the way. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet or heard about it, but it's going to happen in the summer term. And the UI is a little bit better. I say that with making some strange faces for people who can't see me on the video. So, yeah, I don't know if I like it yet. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. It's much better. It's a better improvement than the version we have now. I will say that. Okay, back to the exam. Multiple choice questions. We have 10 of them. And they're A, B, C, D. And only one choice is correct. It's not like select all of them because they're commands. So what do we have here? I'm going to go through all 10 questions and tell you the subject areas of the 10 questions. One of them is on a command related to your Unix account. So commands about accounts or users. What can you do? You can log in, you can log out, change a password, change directories. How do you have a home directory? So one of the questions is on user accounts and features. Accounts and features. And these are all Unix commands, by the way. The commands that you've used in class and you have used in your homework. The second one is on files. File manipulation commands. Remember, we have a couple of those things. What can we do with files? Well, we can make files, we can delete files, we can move files, we can make directories, we can move files into directories, we can change mod on files. If you've done all of the assignments, you'll ace this exam. You'll remember the commands. You don't even have to write the commands for these questions. All you have to do is pick the one that would do. Remember, there are switches on commands. I'm not going to quiz you on all of the different, I don't even know them myself personally. All of the different command switches. No. The obvious ones, yes. Like -R, for example, for recursive delete, recursive move. The ls commands has a couple like H for hidden files, or L for, show me the long file information. Change mod, I'm not going to ask you what all the numbers mean, but you should know there's 3 groups: user, group, other, and that you're setting either numbers or you're setting +R, +RW, stuff like that on the change mod command. Which is that one, which is covered in the file manipulation and the other ones. So number 3, actually that's more, you know what, the change mod is more of a number 4 question. There's a change mod question, it's number 4, by the way. Number 2 is more of a file question. I can't give you the questions, but I'm practically giving you the questions. So I'm not giving you the commands though. Let's go back to number 3 for a second. Remember that assignment we did with the internet? We did it was assignment number 5. So this is, number 3 is on internet commands. You remember we had ping in there, and we had FTP, and we had, I don't know, other stuff in there. There's not too many internet commands in there. Trace route, stuff like that. Take a look at that assignment. So this is here. Actually, let me do this for you. Well, I think it was assignment 5, if I remember. Oh, 6? Okay, good. Thank you. Assignment 6. This one here is more along the lines of assignment 1 and 2. This one here is the files. I think it was like 3 or 4. Assignment 3 and 4. I could be wrong. I'm just guessing right now. And this one's on change mod. Change mod, which is what assignment 3 or 4-ish. Question number 5. Question number 5 is a Unix question. It's on Unix concepts, so it's a Unix question. Not commands. It's on concepts. Concepts like concepts. That was number 5. Number 6. Ooh. Number 6, we had the TR. And what else did we have? We had the pipe command. We had the echo. We had, I don't know, redirection operators. We had PR for print, but that's nothing you really have to worry about. But we had these are Unix commands that you use in combination. Taking output from one, redirecting it to another. You're going to be given a question that says, how would you do blah, 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 blah? And you have to pick A, B, C, or D. It's actually a really easy question because some of them are just downright wrong to begin with. And other ones actually make more sense. Let's see. Lucky number 7. Lucky number 7 says, ooh, number 7 is on the file system. File system and file manipulation. We did a lot of that in this class. For those of you who came in late, I've been recording this and I'm also making some notes for you. Yes, I have been recording this. Okay, good. So file manipulation and file systems. Number 8. Number 8 is another one of those generic Unix questions again. So this is like number 6, number 5. Like number 5, generic Unix question. When I say generic, I mean it's on Unix. It's not like on a specific command or a specific feature. It's a generic overview of Unix. Stop me as I'm going through this as well. I feel like I'm going too fast, but let's see. Number 9 is a security-related question. So it's a security in Unix related question. Borderlines on being a generic Unix question, though. It's not a security. I mean, it's not like security, but it's security oriented. So maybe I should say security oriented general Unix related question. I know that this is very vague, but I can't read you the question. I have to be vague. Last but not least, number 10 of the multiple choice variety. Wow, I gave you 2 change mod questions. So this is a change mod question. So if you don't get the first one, you'll probably get this one. Change mod question. I don't know if that really is assignment 3 and 4. I know one of them. One of the assignments we had. I'm gonna take this 3 and 4 off because I'm not quite sure if that's one of the assignments. We use change mod in it. We change the mod of make something executable, make something read, write, others. It overlapped into several of the assignments actually. So, and it's on one of the themes of what we did in those assignments. So again, all the 10 of those questions are something that you have already done in your assignments. So if you did any assignment, it's not like you have to memorize the command. You just pick A through B, A through A, B, C, or D, and you select one of the options. When you see it, you'll know what it means. It's pretty obvious. It's not very tricky. It's a very straightforward exam. Now the next part is where you're probably going to be challenged. So the next part, you have to write commands. So now, after you get down with it, I don't like multiple MC. I'm going to type it out. Multiple choice. So these are based on the assignments, and then we have, and I'll just cut and paste this one here. And these are fill in the blank. And they are based on the assignments, and they are Unix commands. So you have to, let's just sit here. Required to write Unix commands. I could probably safely show you at this distance what the paper looks like. If you've seen any of the assignments, it looks just like the assignments. However, in the assignments, some of you felt, actually this is the interesting question, because this is the interesting thing, because I'm also doing an online version of this class. And I get a lot of questions from the students about, I can't write a file in the root directory. And I'm thinking, I didn't ask you to do that. I only wanted a command. So a lot of the questions in some of the assignments, in fact, one of them actually said, create a file in the root, write the command to create a file in the root directory. So a lot of students actually tried to do it. And you can't do it because you don't have write access to the root directory. You have write access to your path. And maybe some of you actually asked me this question as well, who knows. But long story short, it's a very common question. On the exam, you're not going to be able to write, you're not going to be able to perform the command. So it's just like the assignment intention was with the assignments, was to have you just write it. I mean, what's the root folder? It's a backslash, a forward slash. So if you're going to move something in the root folder, you're just going to use that forward slash for root. So you can't write anything in the root folder physically. So on the exam, you can't write anything either physically. However, so you won't be able to test your commands. However, I understand in the assignments it was nice to be able to test the commands. But these commands here are not going to be so complicated that you'd have to test them. It's either you're going to know or you're not going to know. And I'm going to be very generous in terms of the grading of getting the command right. So if you've got the command 80% or above correct, then you'll get 100% on it. If you leave out a backslash or a forward slash, or you use backslashes instead of forward slashes, or you forget about to put a minus something in there or something like that, depending upon how significant the omission was, I'm going to be very lenient because I know you can't run these things. It's like when you write it's like when you have programming assignments that you write and then you get a test and it says write a line of code that does this, and you're like, what? I'm not at my computer. I usually write, because I'm programming in general and people are at computers and they're usually writing the commands and running the commands. Who memorizes the syntax, really? But you do have some, if I told you, you know, to do a C out, you probably could mentally come up with a line if you're a C++ programmer to write a C out, to print something to the screen. That's the nature of these questions. So it's not like you're writing a bunch of commands, you're writing one command per question. And the questions are something where if you get 80% or above correct, then you'll have, okay, I'll announce this in a few minutes. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. And if you get like 80% or above correct, then you would have achieved the learning objective, and you're going to get 100% correct on the question. So I'm not going to take off a space or lack of a space or something like that, or something weird, you know. So keep that in mind when you are studying. To remember the main commands, the switches not so critical, but we'll see what happens with that. This was just handed to me Saturday, February 15th. You saw the sign probably at the beginning. Library's not open today. Why did they put it on both sides? I don't know. But maybe I can read it like this and you can read it like this. Saturday, February 15th, the library will not have, campus will not have a librarian. Sunday, no librarian. What is a librarian, sick or something? I don't know. You need to print out or scan. Please use the Martin Luther King San Jose. Where in the world is that? Public Library or FedEx on St. Carlos and 3rd Street. How far away is the library?
On 2nd Street.
Oh, that's not too far. You guys go to the library? Anything good in that library?
Yeah.
Should I go? I've never been there. Free membership? Maybe I should check it out. What do you need to get in? Student ID?
Nothing.
Nothing? You just walk through the door? Do they have internet access there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I think I found my new hangout. Yeah, go to the library. If you don't know where it is, follow me. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to go there probably today. We'll see. I have to check it out. I've never been to that library before. All right, so back to the exam. Question number 1. Number 1's a file system question. File manipulation question. Let me tell you something though. Here's something, and this is just a general advice for you to keep in mind. Exam writers love to do this. I do this all the time without even thinking about it. I've done this before, and I'm always amazed how many people fall for the tricks. You put a multiple choice, so I'm saying this because I have file manipulation question, and then here I have number 2 is a file manipulation command, right? So you're going to see some commands in the answers of the questions. Don't learn the commands by looking at the answers of the previous questions. They're made to trip you up. So a lot of people who don't study for exams will come in and take an exam. It's easy to tell because you're going to go and you're going to answer with something you've seen that's incorrect. It's begging you to write the wrong answers. What it's doing, because it's showing you the wrong answers. And then you get to this question and you go, oh, wait a minute, I can't remember that command, but wait a minute, I saw it in one of the questions. You flip back and you write what's in the question and you use that syntax and it's wrong. This is a classic way of writing exams. So students who don't study end up, because you can tell the answer comes directly. This happens with programming exams all the time, because you give them wrong syntax and then they start thinking that that's the right syntax. So anyway, long story short, don't look at the multiple choice questions when you're answering these ones. If you do, you're going to write the wrong answers. So fortunately for you, they start on a different page. But if you flip back and forth and you look at the multiple choices, you're going to be going down the wrong path. All right, number 2. Okay, so number 1 and number 2 are on file manipulation questions. We did a lot with files. When I say files, I mean everything actually in Unix and Linux is a file. Devices are files, directories are files, files are files. So everything, when I say file, it could be a directory question, it could be a file question, it could be, oh, I don't know, you know, a command question actually, for the most part. But it's on in the assignments. These, as long as you've done the assignments, you're in good shape, and they're on the same subject material as these questions here. All right, let me, okay, so I'm going to change this in because it's number 1 through 4. I'm doing this the wrong way. 1 through 4 are on file manipulation. I just took a look at the other question. So 1 is on files, 2 is on files, 3 is on files, 4 is on files. Moving files, writing files, creating files, editing files. You don't have to know VI commands. You don't have to know nano. You don't have to know anything about text editors, actually. But there was a lot of other things like cat and redirection operators and you know, just a ton of stuff on files. Number 5. Number 5 is a shell question. On Unix shells. Unix shell features. You do not need to know. Let me just make sure. Hold on one second. Commands available in each shell, but be familiar with common Unix shells that are available and the shell concept. For example, Perl could be considered a shell. That was actually assignment number 1, I believe. Yeah. Yeah. Assignment number 1 in assignment number 1. You explored shells. It's an assignment number 1 question. Let me move this up the page a little bit. Oops, here we'll do it this way. For those people in the back who can't see, I moved it up the page a little bit. Shells. Number 6 is on translate command. Number 6, using the translate command tr. You're going to see that in the last assignment, actually. So this is really a. Is it the last command? Is it the last assignment? No. Assignment 6? Assignment 5. Assignment 5. What's the last assignment on regular expressions? Yeah. I'm sorry? Oh no, that's number 6. Number 6 is on the internet. Yeah. Actually, number 7. I think we have 7. Is on regular expressions. That was actually pretty easy, I think. I don't think I put nothing on regular expressions, by the way. Nothing on assignment 7 on this exam. So you don't have to worry about that. I think it's using grep, isn't it? I don't know. I can't remember what the assignment's about. I think it's a grep assignment. Grep. Let's see. No grep. Maybe I should put that in here then. Oh, that's all right. We'll just leave it on. For those guys who are actually listening to me right now, no grep. So, well, actually, let me make sure first. Nope, I did not trip you up with any grep questions, because grep could actually be challenging. So I need to memorize something like that. Let's see. Number 7. Number 7 is an internet. No, we just did that. It's assignment 6. Internet question from assignment 6. Internet Unix question. It's not like a general internet question. It's one that we looked at in assignment number 6. So. Number 8. Number 8 is on scripting. So let's say writing Unix scripts and scripting as a concept. We did that actually in the first assignment where we wrote a script. So you won't have to write a script. You'll have to answer. And this is not really this is not a command question. Actually, this one here is not a command question either. Number 7 is not a command question. It's identify something about something, or what is something about something. So let me just make sure here. Yeah, it's like a short sentence that you write to answer a question, not a command. Because you could really get tripped up on number 6, assignment number 6. So let's see, number 8, yes, on scripting. Number 9 is on editors. Number 9 is on editing files in Linux. You don't have to know nano commands or VI commands or anything like that. So don't, or how to run the programs. Don't need to know about running editors or editor commands. Because if you were to ask me, I probably can give you how to exit out of VI, but that's about it. Because I don't use VI. I think it's exclamation point, Q, return or something. I don't know. A couple different ways of escaping. No, it's colon, exclamation point, Q or something. I don't know. It's cryptic to me. I don't use it. So let's say number 10. Number 10 is so this is not a command. This is, again, not a command question. Here, actually, let me wrap it this way. So, number 10 is a generic Unix Linux question, not a command question, but it requires you to write a sentence or write an answer. So it's a generic Unix question, no command, just answer a question in words. And that concludes our 10 fill-in-the-blank questions. So now we have 3 short answers. So then there's, last but not least, there are, let's see, short answer questions, 1 to 2 paragraphs, or more if you like. These are, and there's 3 questions total. Can't spell today. Let me put a little line in here. Separate this out a little bit so we can kind of see the subsections. Question number 1. So I'm going to give you the 3 topic areas to begin to kind of think about. Now these aren't like define this, define that. That's the fill in the blank. these questions here where it says you don't have to know any commands. It's going to say, what is a such and such and why is it used? And you know, such and such, or what is it used for? A such and such is this, and it's used for that. Kind of a short kind of question. These are along the lines of, and I'll read you part of the question here. Describe the blah, 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 blah process. Make sure to point out at least 3 distinct blah, 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 blahs. It's a generic Unix question. Generic Unix question about using Unix. Now, these questions are worth 5. I forgot to give you the points here. These are 5 points each. These are 1 point each and 1 point each. So it's 10, 10, and then 35. 10, 10, 20, 35. So this is 1 point each. Practically giving the exam now. And this is 1 point each. So these are requiring a little bit more writing. So that question actually comes out of the first couple of lectures of the course. So let me put that in here. Lectures from the first weekend, from first day of class. So what you're getting in the short answer are lecture-related questions. So they're not command questions. So let's go and put here, not command questions. All questions are based on lecture materials. They're not command questions or assignment-related questions. They're on the lecture material. It's to see who was paying attention during the lectures. Okay. And the second one. This one I'm going to give you because I want you to make sure that you look at this stuff. It's on processes and threads. So Unix process and thread concepts. At bare minimum, make sure you know what a process is, make sure you know how it's implemented as a thread. We did not do any thread programming in this course, but I gave you an entire lecture on that. There's a lecture we did. I remember I asked somebody the difference between a process and a thread, and we had like a half-day conversation about this. Concepts. So it comes out of the process thread lecture. It's a question that is basically could be answered by reviewing that lecture. So just know the concepts of that in that lecture. So it's something for you to review. Now, I would say that the most review that you're probably going to end up having to do is for these 3 questions. So when I give you some review time tomorrow morning, just thumb through those lectures. That's a good way of doing it. It's hard to read a book on Unix and learn it. So it's more practice. So. Okay, so that's number 2. The last question on the exam. It's not a shell script question. But you don't have to write a shell script. It's a shell scripting question. But you don't write a shell script. Instead, what you'll be doing is answering a describe something. So, you know, like something associated with writing shell scripts. How would you do it? Like a step-by-step process or something. So, know the process. But it's not that question. It's a different question. Know the process of how to create and run scripts, why they are used, what they can do, features that go along with them. No, this isn't the question about the computer working for the human or the human working for the computer. Although I would love to ask that question. But it's more of a, if this were a philosophy class, that'd be an appropriate question. Do you work for the computer or does the computer work for you? We all know that you guys are now working for the computer, but the computer works for me. Well, maybe some of you, the computer works for you too. So, depends on how, you know, the more we are tied to technology, the more the computer does work for, we work for the computer. So, you can see it every day on Twitter, actually. You're constantly providing the input for other people to read. So I'm going to call this one Final Review. Actually, I'm going to put here Unix Final. That looks pretty good. And let me see if I've missed something. That is number 3. The 3 is on the shell scripts. Questions? That's the entire exam. It's not too bad. It will probably take you about an hour. Depends on how much your memory can recall these. So the problem here is you spend, the way the exam is written, if I were taking this exam, I'd answer these 3 questions first. And then I'd go back and answer the person's. Like, I'm telling you another little exam trick here. So exam writers, you can take an entire course, by the way. If you get into education, you can take an entire course on how to write an exam. There's a whole psychology to this. This exam, I will tell you, follows the, we're going to confuse you to the end. Which means the beginning part comes out pretty easy, but it taxes you. So your brain is going, no, that one's right. No, okay, that one's right. No, this one's right. And then you go into the, I don't remember the TR command. Wait a minute, let me go back up here and take a look here, because one of it was in one of those questions. Here it is here. Okay. Oh, and then you write down the wrong command. And then you're second guessing it. Oh my God, is it the right command or the wrong command? I don't know. Did you put that in there as a trick? Oh no, I don't remember it. By the time you get down here, you can't remember your name. And here I'm asking you to think out of the box. Here, this is the more abstract. You don't have to be as specific. But unfortunately, as you go through this process, you are thinking specific. By the time you end up answering the last 3, give me an example of something. You're stuck because you're thinking inside the box. You no longer have an open mind. Your brain is taxed. So if you want to have an open mind, brain, answer the first 3 questions first, then go back and answer the other ones. You do this for all exams, actually. You just take a look. Always answer essay questions first, and then the short answers second or third. And they will always put the short answer first, and they'll put the essays last. Because by the time you get to the essays, you're just, I can't think anymore. You just can't write anymore. Now, I have a law professor who does that all the time. He gives you 50 multiple choice questions. By the time you get through those multiple choice, if you spent too much time, you have no time left over anyway. And these are timed exams. You have no time to write the essay, and you can't think because you've read through all these other scenarios of all these things that could happen to these poor people, and you had to determine all these reactions and responses and the applicable law for it. By the time you get to the end, you're like, I don't know my name anymore. I can't think. So anyway, that's the nature of this exam. Not on purpose, I just have a tendency to write it that way. So questions before I end this video? That's my advice. Answer the essay first. Is that guy in the class? I don't know. All right, so I'm going to stop this video. I will post this underneath the video posting, and it'll be called Final Exam Review. So let's end this.